Hello friends and welcome back to another episode of Summer of Stories. Today is the C episode, and like I've mentioned in the previous ones, just because the title starts with a C doesn't mean it's part of the C episode. It's the subject matter that causes the letter association in my case here. So this subject today is cruising. This was not an actual cruise ship, however, it was a cruise through the harbor. So that's what I titled this. This is when we had a work party in the Baltimore Inner Harbor. Very, very beautiful. And we had a lot of fun. This is only like the third time we'd visited the harbor, and I was moving from New York after this week, or back to New York after this event. So I think I was moving the next day. So this was sort of like the last thing we did in Maryland together while we lived there. So I'll be using a couple paper pads today, 6x6 that is. So I have the Summer Fun by Echo Park, the Bo Bunny Summer, and then the Carnival paper pad, which is by Colorbach. So we have some teals, some greens, like seafoam greens, some blues, and then the black, which I think adds some great contrast. And I will say, guys, I think this is my favorite layout so far from the month. And I've created more than you guys have seen so far, but this is my favorite of the month, I think. So definitely let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. But since it is episode C, you guys can get the free printable of a C story list over on my blog. I'll have that link down below. It's a nice PDF full of different ideas for stories you could tell that associate with the letter C and will help spark your stories this summer. So I have this sort of collage idea that I'm trying to do here with the papers. And I wasn't sure how it was going to work out because they weren't fitting as well as I thought they would. And here I'm pulling out another dark teal, and this is from, I think, Oh My Heart from Pretty Little Studio. And then some of these paper layers that I'm pulling out are from Pattern Happy, which is a great company if you haven't checked them out yet. But I'll try to have all this linked down below so you guys can check them out if you're interested. But I'm just pulling out some more 6x6 to layer underneath my photos. But with this sort of technique where you sort of just let the patterns decide where they roam, you want to be sure that you pick patterns that'll work to the eye no matter what direction they lay. So I tried to pick some that were, so obviously I have a stripe, and stripes can be put at angles, so that worked out well. But I also picked a chevron, which I was nervous about using because it was going to be right next to the stripe, and I just didn't want them to line up so it'd look weird or anything like that. So I'm really happy with how it turned out. I'm just going to layer these 6x6 papers that I pulled out underneath my photos. We have like a mint color, the black and whites to add a little bit more contrast, and that works out nicely to give this layout some more contrast and some more interest, because I think it was definitely lacking when I first started. I thought it looked a little dull. But when you're trying to pick out some patterns for this sort of technique where they just lay across the background, you want to stick with some simple patterns, nothing too crazy or too busy. And you can see here that these are basically monotone papers. There's nothing crazy about them. They're not multicolored. If you want to do multicolored papers, I would recommend starting with a white cardstock background. But since I'm doing a colored and patterned colored background, I want to make sure that I use patterns that coordinate with that but don't get lost in it. So I think these were great choices. You can also ink the edges if you feel like they need to pop a little bit more. Black inking on this would have given it a completely different look. I'm glad I didn't ink them. I think I liked the cleaner look that I ended up getting on this layout. It is quite busy, but I do love how it turned out, even though I ripped a paper. But that's okay, I just glued it back together and it was fine. But now that they're adhered down, I'm adding a little bit of washi tape because I like every layout to have some washi tape. I also added some washi strips at the top and bottom of the layout because I really like that sort of framing aspect to it, even though the whole layout's already framed. And then I just have all these random die cuts on my desk that I've been trying to use. So I pull out some Vicki Boutin, some Project Life. The one that says so cool is really pretty. It's in a nice mint color. That journaling block from Vicki Boutin works perfectly. It does have a coral tint on some of the items. I think it says who, what, when, where, or something like that. Those are coral. I just kind of ignore the fact that they are there. I just pretend that there's like it's just teal. We don't have to worry about it. But you could have easily brought in that coral color as well. But since these photos were so blue, I just stuck with the blue color scheme here. I also did pull out another drink umbrella. I thought that would be fun to include. I bought those at Michael's, I believe, last summer or 2 summers ago for 90 cents, and it was like a 12 pack of them. And I've been using them in my cruise layouts, and now there's this cruise, so I thought it'd be perfect to use on this one. I'm also looking for a lot more dimension. This layout's feeling very one-dimensional besides the umbrella. So I found this flare that I think it says Summer Adventure with a little geotag at the top, and I put that in the top left cluster. So there's going to be 3 clusters and then the title. There's going to be one in the top left next to my head, one between the photos on the right-hand side, and then one in the bottom right next to that photo. Next up, I pull out some Illustrated Faith tabs. I picked these up pretty recently, so they're kind of fresh on my mind. I knew that they had the similar colors that I was sort of looking for, so I layer 2 of the tabs to the right of the photo, which kind of creates one giant cluster on the right-hand side, which I kind of enjoy. I like larger clusters sometimes. And then one black heart one at the top of the journaling spot there. Now at this point, I know kind of what my title's going to be, I just don't know what I'm going to make it out of. So I'm trying to keep that in the back of my mind as I'm going along of 1, what letters could I fit in that little spot that I've left? 2, what's my exact title going to be? And 3, what color do I want it to be? So I end up looking through my thickers and finding these. Now I've never used these before, but I thought they were fitting. 1, because they're black and white, and that's sort of a little color scheme item I have going on here. And 2, I've had a really hard time using them. So if I knew they were going to work, which I think they totally do, I'm going to use them because there's no chance I'm going to be able to use these on every layout I ever do. So if there's a chance, I'm going to take it. So I put Cruise and Harbor in that font, which I don't know what that font is. I think it's from a Dear Lizzie collection. And then I start looking through some of my smaller alphabets. I have these Simple Stories ones I thought about using. Then I also have this sticker book from Walmart. And I pull out these block letters, and these are in a minty blue color, which again coordinates perfectly with the layout. And those will be the mid part of the title here. So it says Cruise Down the Harbor, which so much fun. If you guys haven't visited the inner Baltimore Harbor, you gotta do that. It's a lot of touristy stuff there. But you can kind of see the clusters here again need a little bit of something else. And since I have so much white in the title, I pull out these nautical wood veneer shapes. These were back when I used to shop on AliExpress. I no longer shop on AliExpress. I think there's a lot of, misleading items on there, and they do steal artwork from a lot of our beloved companies. So I no longer shop on there, but these are from when I shopped on there. But you can find similar things on other websites like Oriental Trading. The places that do a lot of kids crafts tend to have these wood shapes in a lot of different fun patterns. So I'm just going to glue down my title with my quick dry adhesive in this fine line bottle. I do need to buy another quick dry adhesive, so let me know where you guys buy yours. I think I usually pick mine up at Hobby Lobby, but it's been so long since I've purchased one that I don't know where I bought it. And then I finish it off with a couple of these Paige Evans stickers that are from the Whimsical collection. She had a lot of medium blues and mint colors that I thought were perfect. Other than that, this layout's almost complete. The last thing I add is enamel dots. I've been obsessed with enamel dots lately, especially Pink Fresh Studio ones, which started back in May when I used them and got them in a grab box. So I pop a couple of these teal and navy, or teal and black ones around the layout here, and I think it just came together so well, and you guys are going to really enjoy the close-ups here in a moment. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up and let me know what you're going to scrapbook about that belongs in the C category. It could be about your children. It could be about your cat. I almost did a cat one, but I figured I do a lot of cat ones. I probably shouldn't. But it could be about so many different things. But I hope you guys are inspired, and if you need some story inspiration, head over to my blog for that free download. And don't forget, I'm doing exclusive stuff on my Patreon this month for Summer of Stories, so check it out there as well. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!